Hey everybody, it's Jason McLaren with the Leadership Loading Podcast. And today we're talking to John Templeton. He's a master coach and international speaker with a passion for helping others achieve greatness in his lives. And he's actually a Guinness World Record holder and national bodybuilding champion, ex-special forces and celebrity trainer. So great person to have on the show today and kind of talk to us a little bit about what he does and how we can move forward in our lives. So John, welcome to the show.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Let's start off with this record, Guinness record. What is that all about?
Yeah, I mean, the short version is it's a Guinness World Record for doing the most amount of strict muscle ups, which is like a gymnastics exercise, in 24 hours. Just 24 hours, as many as you can.
Great. And like, how did that? You have to go through like a prerequisite process or anything to get on there?
No, I mean, I competed as a CrossFit athlete for years, and I loved muscle ups. And coming from the military, 24 hours of work was something that was right up my alley. So I sort of thought, well, I love both of those things. Let's see if I can set a Guinness World Record. So I looked on the World Record website and I found that one. I was like, this is me. Um, and yeah, lots of admin. 12 months really of admin and training leading up to it. No crazy prerequisites, just the courage to do it, I guess. Ooh, I
Yeah, I'm sure
can't.
they have a lot of paperwork to do and all that before they actually come out and measure you.
Well, they didn't come out and measure me, but I had to have um 12 independent judges that were certified in gymnastics and 24 independent witnesses that could be kind of like you're doing sentry duty if you're in the military, like staggered sentry duties where they were writing down what they witnessed the whole time. Plus, I had to have two camera angles filming all 24 hours straight. So I had three actually set up in case one went down. And then I had to have media coverage, all of this evidence, and I sent all the evidence in for them to check.
Oh,
So it was crazy. Yeah.
great. All right, let's talk about your military background here. Ex-special forces. What branch? What country?
I so New Zealand SAS, but I was the trainer, so I wasn't a badged member of the SAS. My posting was one NZ SAS group physical training instructor. So that was right at the end of my career when I became a physical trainer and I completed my course and I was posted to the NZ SAS base for the rest of my career. Yeah.
All right, and so you have a coaching program and some relationship program. You actually have four different programs on your
On the
website here.
website.
Yeah, you got the Amplify Growth, Relationship Magic, Amplify Wealth, and then the one-on-one coaching. So, how do we work on developing our journey if we want to, grow with you and go from there?
Yeah, I mean, I those are some of the programs I offer. I'm also coaching other coaches. So I've actually had a lot of ex-military people come through my trainings because they knew me, especially in the Amplify Your Growth program. But I'm coaching coaches currently as well. And I'm not sure when this podcast will go live. When will this go live?
We're about 5 weeks out right now.
Okay, yeah. So I'm running a couple of other programs as well about just helping people unlock parts of themselves, attributes that they might have buried away for a while. In the services we learn to be focused, we learn to be disciplined. Those are all great things. But sometimes we might be lacking in other areas of our life. So it's about unlocking those parts of ourselves that we've shut off so that we can, explore the civilian world, explore the worlds that we want to step into as opposed to the one that we've been in. We've been shaped by our environment, but the next level of our growth might be a different environment and it might ask us to step up in ways we hadn't done, maybe since childhood. So I really help people unlock those parts of themselves.
Yeah, and I was looking on there. I saw one was aiming for greatness, and then it says playing small is not an option, and contracting isn't an option. So, and that kind of plays into anybody trying to move on to the next sector or move on to something. You can't go small; you got to go big, right? And then contracting. Like in my full-time job, I contract a lot of stuff out because we're just so busy, but you can't do that with your own goals, right?
Yeah, and in that context, contracting was more like shrinking, like a contraction. So, I mean, a lot of people live in a contracted state, maybe with fear or doubt in their capabilities or abilities. In the services as well, we are conditioned to follow orders, which is fantastic. If you want to be an entrepreneur, though, you need to be the leader, not the follower of orders, essentially. So, yeah, expanding and opening up into everything that you're capable of, really.
Definitely. I think, and I always say, just because what you did in the military is your job doesn't mean that's what you have to do when you get out. You know, a lot of us, for myself, I was a firefighter, and that's what I thought I needed to do when I got out. And I tried and tried for 5 years, and I couldn't find a good job. And so what I did is I tied into some of my other skills that I learned while in the military, either leadership or some of the technological side of things, and kind of leaned into those to tide me over until I got into my, finished my college and all that stuff, and then worked my way up from there. So it kind of worked out that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know a lot of people like leave the military, and like you said, they feel like they don't have that many skill sets to work in the civilian world. But I honestly believe that you like a lot of civilians are kind of a little bit lazy, and then and you if you just have that, because it's foreign, it feels weird, and that's where the contraction comes in. But if you embrace the leadership like you did, and you embrace the focus and the discipline into an endeavor in the civilian world, you're actually the foundation for success in entrepreneurship is so good.
Yeah, and then some of your speaking engagements, you talk about high performance living, and I think that's kind of an example of that, where when I got out, I was able to do things. I'd talk to my leadership, and they'd ask me to do a task, and I'd knock it out in 2 or 3 hours, and they're like, "Well, the guy before you, it took him all day to do that." I'm like, "Well,
Yeah.
like you said, we go." And I was actually doing work around our farm not the other day, but a couple months ago, and I was just kind of jogging to the next thing to do. And my father-in-law said, "Why are you running?" And I'm like, "That's just we don't walk to anything." So I think that high performance mindset's kind of something that sets us apart.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, the, I remember getting out, and my coach, when I got into business, I hired a business coach, and he would say, he's like, I've never seen someone with your work ethic and your, I was like, just give me the list, I'll get the tasks done. Um, so it's definitely an attribute that service personnel have when they come out, is the ability to get shit done.
Definitely. So how do we need to, if we're working towards, getting things done, uh, how should we start, setting our clear vision and goals? I know a lot of us, people write things down, or they, have a task book or something like that. So what are some other things we can do to get that next step, or, get out of that rut, or go forward from there?
Well, you use the word vision. I think that's the best word. Without a compelling vision, without something to look forward to in the future, that gets us out of bed and that pulls us forward, it is hard. And so that's step one, is like, what do you really want? You could look at, what do you really want to achieve before you die, aka the bucket list. You could look at, what do you want 10 years from now, and set like a 10-year vision, and then obviously chunk down to, that's the mission. And then you've got, what's phase one, what's phase two, and just break it down all the way down into even daily tasks. What do I need to do today? What's my first step to achieve that vision? But without the vision, it's easy to settle for what's safe, or what's comfortable, or what's convenient, or what brings you short-term pleasure or gets you out of pain. And if we just settle for what's sort of pleasurable or comfortable in the short term, we often don't lead a fulfilling life, because we're not working towards that vision, that thing that we would essentially, die on the hill for. So I think that's the most important thing for anyone, bar none, is to really get clear on this short lifetime and what would be really your dream way, your ideal way of living it.
Good deal. And so you have a podcast also, right?
Yeah, I haven't run any episodes for a while, but yeah, I had the Amplify podcast is what it was initially called, and I just wanted to interview great minds. I just wanted to really hear from people that had lived lives and experienced things that, you know, I couldn't imagine. I interviewed one guy, he hadn't spent or earned money in 15 years. So he lived purely based off of, it's like ultimate survival, really, or what people would give him. Sometimes he would eat like roadkill off the road. But his story, Daniel Swellow, was just incredible. So yeah, I love interviewing people who have had really unique experiences.
Yeah, that's why we started this podcast, because we found that we talked to all these people and we're like, why are we not putting this on media? And so it's turned out really well. We've met great people like yourself throughout the 3 years now that we've been going, and it's been really useful and really helpful for our teams. So.
Yeah, I think podcasts are great way to network and great way to share information. And that's what I love about the world these days. Is like, if you want to know the answer to anything, you can find it online or on YouTube or on a podcast somewhere. It's there's really no excuse for people not to be growing and making progress.
Definitely. YouTube, I think I watch 2 or 3 things a day on there just to learn, not just to, watch people game, but learning. And then, and it helps a lot with the other tasks that I've got in my life, but, yeah, definitely. So if we had, say you and I were, in the elevator and you had 1 minute to give me a leadership tip, and, I said, hey, I'm going to do something with my life, what would you say?
I would say that inside you have two voices, 2 energies, 2 beings essentially inside you. One of them is based in keeping you safe and secure. The other one is routed in your soul's purpose. It is, call it your higher self, and you as a being are 100% responsible for which voice you listen to and which voice you act on. And the one that's going to lead you to living the best life possible is the one coming from the higher self. Safety, comfort, and safety and comfort is really, that voice is going to keep you small, keep you contracted. And so let your soul run your life, not your safety mechanisms.
Great. So how can our listeners get a hold of you if they want to reach out and talk to you about coaching or any of your programs?
Yeah, just talk to me on social media at John Templeton Official. You can get me on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn, but I'm not on LinkedIn, if that makes sense. So yeah, Instagram, Facebook, really. And I love connecting. So even just hey, heard you on the podcast. It's always good to meet new people.
Definitely. All right. And his website's johntempleton.io. We'll put that in the show notes below. Thanks, John. Thanks for coming on. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's my pleasure. I was going to say, you can also go to johntempletonofficial.com. It will all lead back to the same place.
Good deal. All right. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for coming on the show.
Appreciate it, Jason. Thank you.
There are thousands of leadership and management podcasts to choose from. We're glad you chose the Leadership Loading Podcast, a Go Heroes production. If you'd like to support Go Heroes Inc., visit www.goheroes.org. And with that, it's time to wrap up today's show. Thank you so much for listening. We sincerely hope you liked it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast with your family and friends. Let's all grow together. Thanks for listening to the Leadership Loading Podcast. Leadership Inspired.